Hi, everybody, and welcome to the next episode of the Resident Rulebreakers. I'm Kayla.
And I'm Camille.
And on today's podcast, we are celebrating the birthday of Bruce Greenwood, who turned 64 on Wednesday.
Yay, happy birthday, Bruce.
Happy birthday, Bruce. The first topic is obviously Bruce's career. It's been long.
Like 30, almost 40 years?
Yeah.
I would assume that him and Malcolm have the same longevity going on.
About 40 years, yeah.
Bruce has had a long career. One thing that I found interesting is that I think he's played the president 3 times at least.
And he's Canadian.
Yeah, the president of the United States or whatever. Which is kind of, I don't know, would that fall under typecasting?
So I think it's funny that he's played the president of the United States 3 times and he's Canadian.
That's why, like, my dream question for him would have been like, if you actually ran for president for real, what would your slogan be? What kind of like platform would you want to focus on? Well, Bruce Greenwood 2020. What would the platform be?
This is kind of funny because one of them I had written down was that he was the president and national treasure too. So,
yeah. Okay, am I the only one who really wants to know what's in that book?
Didn't we ask him that?
Yeah, 97. What page was it? 97 or 93?
Oh yeah, something like that.
Yeah, he did. He never told us the answer.
Come on, Bruce. But Bruce has also played a doctor before.
St. Elsewhere.
Yeah, in St. Elsewhere.
He also played Admiral Pike on Star Trek.
The new one.
Incarnations.
The new movies, yeah.
Yes. So he was on, I think he was Star Trek and Into the Darkness. His character died in Star Trek Into the Darkness. That's what, I love Star Trek. So
yeah,
it's
something I got from my father was a love of Star Trek. So
we're sci-fi geeks.
Yeah.
And also the other one that people might know him from is Double Jeopardy. He played like this abusive husband who faked his death or something. And his wife got convicted for his murder. And she comes to find out that he was alive. So she was like, I could kill you right now and get away with it because it's Double Jeopardy. His co-star was Ashley Judd. So
yeah, he's had if you look on his IMDb, it's just full for like last 40 years of just consistent work.
Also, if you guys want to follow anybody, his Instagram account, and there's only one, so don't. It's official Bruce Greenwood. It doesn't currently have a blue check mark because
he's working on it.
Don't know what's taking so long, and also Bruce Greenwood fan. Follow her fan page. She does a lot. She knows Bruce personally. Number one, and number two.
She helped us get in touch with Bruce. So thank you. But yeah, she's a wonderful supporter of the podcast. So thank you.
But yeah, follow those 2 people.
Yes. If you're a Bruce Greenwood fan, follow Bruce, obviously, and follow the fan page. Into Dr. Bell.
Our beloved villain turned
hero.
No, he's like the
He's our anti-hero.
Yeah, our anti-hero turned hero. I honestly have to say though, I feel like this was a missed opportunity to ask Bruce. Like, we know from a writer's point of view that the change in character was with Henry almost dying. That's what Amy has told us in the group. And
I actually wrote that down, and that's episode 215, Queen.
But I would have liked to see from an actor's standpoint, when did he start, switching, kind of, when did he start seeing the change. Because sometimes it's two different interpretations from both the writer and the actor and stuff.
Mhm. Because from what I know, they don't get the scripts but a couple weeks prior to shooting. So they don't have that much time, and they don't do table reads. So they don't have that much time to prepare to know how to bring about these characters, I guess.
Yeah.
But, you know, Belle starts out as HODAD, the Hands of Death and Destruction, which if you listen to some of our more recent podcasts, we're going through that phase of Belle right now.
That time period.
And from what we can take from it, Belle got corrupted because of the money he was making from being the chief of surgery.
Yeah, and becoming CEO.
Yeah.
Money is the root of all evil.
Mm-hmm. It corrupts everything. Our government's a prime example of it. Hate to say that, but yeah.
And that's not political or anything like that. That's everybody who's in government right now. That's not like a party line thing. No. That's fact. You don't get to be a senate or a president or anything like that, no matter what party you're in.
And I don't care if it's politicians. Obviously, they're talking about doctors here with Belle, but it's not just doctors or politicians. It's lawyers, actors, big CEOs of these Fortune 500 companies. Money corrupts people.
Yep. Greed.
It's probably one of the worst 7 deadly sins.
What number is greed?
I don't
They usually
remember.
list it in numerical. I don't know what it is.
But it's one of the worst ones in my opinion.
Yep.
But the thing is, Belle didn't become a doctor because of the money. He became a doctor because he fell in love with being in the OR and saving people's lives.
Yeah. He was a lot like Conrad.
A lot like Conrad.
That's what they said.
And actually in 216, Adverse Events, which we're going to get into in a moment, the guy, his name was Simon, the janitor that died.
Played by Dan Lauria.
Yeah.
And Wonder Years fans love him. He's so good.
But that character tells Conrad that he was a lot like, Belle was a lot like him in his early years. He was trying to get people to stop smoking in the hospital, which, by the way, I can't imagine a time where people actually smoked in hospitals and thought it was good.
Yeah, hello, oxygen. I'm surprised there weren't more hospitals like blowing up like a bomb thanks to the allowing smoking in a damn hospital.
I mean, the hospital here, I remember when they went from you can't smoke within 100 feet of the entrance of the hospital to you can't smoke on the property of the hospital, which means they had to leave the property to take a smoke break.
Or just quit smoking.
Yeah, that was what they were trying to do.
That's crazy. Belle was like Conrad. He was fighting the system or whatever. Maybe that's also why he didn't really like Conrad at first.
He saw a lot of himself in Conrad.
Yeah, he had a very antagonistic relationship with Conrad in the beginning.
You see in the pilot, I mean, they're just at each other and just brutal. Like there's a scene where Conrad just says, "Just go be a TV doctor," which we're going to get into because he becomes a TV doctor.
The irony of that statement.
But it is irony. But yeah, 216, which that scene where he dies on AJ and Belle in the OR, it's when Simon dies. And then Belle cleans up the OR, and then he tells the janitor that comes by that was supposed to do it to clean that, it's already been done, the black light's on to check for germs and stuff. I was like, I know I'm crying my eyeballs out. But yeah.
For those who may have not seen the episode or don't know exactly what we're talking about, Simon was a janitor or like the cleanup person for Belle after his surgeries or whatever. So I kind of look at it, I know this is a weird comparison, but Harry Potter. You know how like Dobby is the house elf and he wasn't able to do magic or whatever. So all his life he wasn't able to do magic. So Harry, when Dobby died, Harry, dug up the grave without magic and respect to Dobby. So it's sort of like that where, Belle, in respect for Simon or whatever, did what Simon would have done for him. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's an accurate comparison. I mean, Belle went and did for his friend what his friend would have done for him.
Yeah, or has spent his life doing for him.
Yeah. I mean, because they were talking about going into the lottery together and stuff like that. So that
I just start crying now just thinking about it.
But Henry almost dying with the Covadis device, that was really the change. And when Belle pulled all these devices, you can see this change in him. And even Marshall comments to Conrad, he says, believe it or not, Randolph did the right thing. Conrad doesn't believe his own father at this point, that Belle could do the right thing.
I don't think anybody can. I mean, even season 3, I still was doubting Belle.
Yeah, we up until and we're gonna get into that.
I still was like, oh,
a lot of people obviously the Red Rock's there because Belle sold the hospital to them, but he really had no choice. Belle had.
He was gonna go bankrupt.
Yeah, he was gonna go bankrupt, so there was no choice for that. But in season 3, obviously, there's the plot line with Andrea, where he's, the supplement company and everything. And when it starts to go under and they start having problems, everyone backs out. But Belle's like, no, I believe in this. And at first you're like, is he going to throw this girl under the bus? Because that was what season 1 Belle would have done.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
In season 2.
Early season 2. But this kind of solidified that he had gone through this redemption arc, through the change, and made you go, I like this guy even more now because of the fact that he didn't, hurt this girl. He was willing to risk everything.
Yeah. I honestly was like, when he went into the room before Conrad, showed him the test results or whatever, I honestly was the whole time going, oh, he is so going to throw her under the bus. He is so going to say something. You know what I mean?
You're sitting on the edge of your seat going, where are they going with this? What's he going to do?
Is HODAD about to come back? What's going on?
Because I don't want to see HODAD again. Okay?
Nobody does.
Nobody wants. But I actually like the fact that he willingly stepped down from being the CEO and the chief of surgery. He willingly took that. But in return, he's a TV doctor. Now, ring the bell, right?
Yeah. Ring the ding, 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 ding. That was AJ who did that, right? It was like ding, ding, and that was like, please stop, please. But that's actually one of my favorite, and it's my favorite small moments, I guess, with Belle is that in the beginning of the first season, people were, scared of him having surgery. He didn't trust himself, etc. He was money hungry, everything. And then 3rd season, he's like begging people to let him in the OR.
They're like, oh, we cleared your schedule because you're on TV. We didn't know if you'd have time. He's like,
no, please get me back in the OR. Even AJ was like, call Belle, but don't tell him that I need him or whatever.
Because this is the man who willingly spends Valentine's Day doing surgeries.
Yes, but yeah, he was begging to get back in the OR. I guess it's like you just love when you love what you do. You want to do it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's great that we see that hunger, in him, because I don't think there was that much. Like I said, you want him back as CEO. I don't. I'm scared. I am terrified of him going back to CEO or whatever. Because
Well,
I feel
someone
that
has to run the hospital after Red Rock's taken down, and who's more qualified than Bell?
Marshall, or anybody.
But they wanted a doctor, and
but the thing about it is, I don't want HODAD back, and I feel like being CEO might be a catalyst of HODAD's return.
we'll see where they take him.
And you obviously disagree.
I do disagree. I think he's gone through enough development to where he's able to handle it now.
And so for those who think that we're two girls who are agreeing with each other all the time, this is
the one moment where this is one of those moments where we don't agree, okay?
Well, this is one of the many moments that we don't agree. He's a comic fan, I'm a Minotaur fan more.
And there's another moment really before the change where he gets Lane Hunter arrested.
Yes.
So Bell did have his moments in between all the corruption.
Yeah, but he had her arrested and then went and tried to pick up a prostitute and tore papers. I'm like, yay! One good moment.
Here's the misogyny side of Bell that I hated so much. I called it out on multiple occasions in my reviews that I did early on. Yeah. I was like, this guy has issues. The misogyny is ridiculous.
Yes, very much so. But I mean, seriously though, he went and got Lane arrested, but did he really get Lane arrested because he was worried about her patients, or he wanted to do good, or for another reason, or for a nefarious reason? Because
she blackmailed him.
He did more corrupt shit.
She blackmailed him. He wanted to keep his job.
Yeah.
Which we see in 210 when she comes back and she dies. He was going to resign because he was afraid all this stuff was going to come out.
Yeah.
And then she dies and he gets to keep his job. So
he deleted all of the he was in the middle of typing out the resignation letter when I think it was it's Grayson. Was Grayson already there or no?
Yeah, Grayson was already there.
Yeah, when Grayson came in and told him about Lane dying or whatever, so he pressed delete. But yeah, he still was corrupt. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he went and got Lane arrested, but nope.
But it was Nick and Conrad and David. Those are the ones that got the evidence to get Lane Hunter arrested. It wasn't Bell.
And Priya.
Yeah.
We can't ignore her.
Ignore that, no. Into our relationship part of the podcast. First off, Grayson, because he's the best underqualified assistant ever, right?
Yeah.
I know Radek says don't tell him about the underqualified part.
Happy birthday, Radek.
Yeah, Radek had a birthday over the past week, so happy birthday, Radek.
How old is he? Do you remember?
24.
Oh my God. So young.
But yeah, Grayson's the best underqualified assistant ever.
Which, mind you, he gave himself that title. when we talked to him on the podcast, he said that Grayson was an underqualified assistant. So
blame Radek for that one. Anyway, most people are so excited to see what happens with Grayson and Belle because their scenes are so comedic. It's wonderful comedic relief, and just everyone loves seeing when Grayson pops up. Of course,
Yeah.
if he's not Belle's assistant right now. He would be Kim's assistant because he's the assistant to the CEO of Chastain. So, but still, he would obviously go up to Dr. Bell and go, "Hi, Dr. B. How are you today?"
Oh, Grayson. And also, we have to talk about Radek and Bruce's relationships with each other.
Yeah.
As actors,
Mm-hmm.
they are. Radek, and pretty much everyone told us. Every single person that we talked to has told us that Bruce is hilarious, pretty much the opposite of Belle. And so Radek, gave us like insight on their relationship, not off the set. Well, not off the set, but like once the cameras turn off, which is they're both goofballs. They like to laugh and they like to make jokes and play pranks on each other and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is just, it's great. And I think it helps with their chemistry as characters too, that they both like each other, Offset too, and there's a lot of respect between them, and Bruce is funny. So, Bruce, for the listeners who think that Bruce is like Belle, he's not. Every single person that told us that we talked to says all those. He's funny, he's sweet, he's a good guy and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And all of his co-stars give high praise to Bruce.
Now for the romantic relationships. Lane Hunter.
Does that even qualify as a romantic relationship?
He had sex with her. I don't care, but probably the most. Okay, first off, Belle's been divorced 2 times before the show ever started.
Mm.
So obviously he has trouble keeping in a relationship.
Yeah.
His job, he's married to his job. Let's just put it like that.
Well, which is the case with a lot of
doctors.
Yeah. So, not surprising.
But Lane Hunter manipulated him in more ways than I can care to count.
Yeah.
And so it was just gross. Absolutely.
Well, I mean, she used him as an alibi for
Lily's
death. Yeah. So.
Grayson's mom. Remember? Grayson comes in and goes, "Here, have sex with my mom."
Ew, that was just gross. That sentence.
But it's pretty much what he said, right?
Yeah. Well, Radek said that when we asked him what was one thing that he's different from his character, he said that he wouldn't pimp out his mother. And I was like, great. That's wonderful. But yeah, that awkwardness though when he met Grayson's dad or whatever. And
no, Belle was already friends with Grayson's dad.
Yeah, but
golfing buddies or whatever, right?
Yeah, but did she come in with like some kind of STD or something?
Yeah, she came in with gonorrhea, and this is the funny scene where Grayson comes in and tries to punch Belle because
he's like, "You gave my mother an STD." I love that scene. And Radek actually mentioned that during our interview, that was one of his favorites. I could fire you for a million things, but not for defending your mom or whatever. So I thought that was sweet.
Yeah. So, and then we have Kit. Everyone, it's not really romantic at this point, but I want it to be. Like, I would be so happy if this became romantic. I love the chemistry between Jane Lees and Bruce.
Yes.
I want to see, I know that we've been told there will be progress on this relationship going into season 4.
Yep. I don't know how they're going to do a lot of these things, especially with a short season. You're talking about at least 2 weddings, maybe at most 2 weddings, plus medical arcs and story character development.
Unless they have a plan to have this show go over into the summer season.
Because it seems like we are thinking that it's probably like 12 to 14 episodes. How are you gonna fit all that in? And then of course Red Rock Takedown. How are you gonna fit all that in like 14 episodes without it being rushed?
Yeah.
But also, I guess that's why I'm not a writer.
Yeah. Me neither. But yeah, like when we asked for what's your favorite Bell moment, a lot of people were like, his scenes with Kit. Everyone loves his scenes with Kit. Like
Yes.
when, like even back into season 2, where like I point out the season 2 finale where they have the guy that's the John Doe and Kit's like saying, look, he's a patient, we still need to treat him. Bell's still got his CEO goggles on. He's like, no, we can't afford it. And Bell and Kit goes and convinces Bell to do the treatment, despite the fact they couldn't afford to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times she's able to convince him to do things otherwise for the greater good.
Yeah. She's like the angel.
The Bell whisperer.
I was going to say the angel on his shoulder.
Yeah.
I don't know if it would be the devil, though. Maybe Lane would be the devil.
Lane. A lot of times she's able to talk to Bell, whereas a lot of the other characters are not, and get him to...
Because he's her equal.
Yeah.
So...
But
not really equal. So,
well, kind of now. Now that he's not the CEO anymore.
Yeah,
But I love the way that they, he went and checked on her when her son-in-law started having issues with the Canada Oris and everything. So yeah.
How he also took care of her husband and stuff like that.
So I'm looking forward to seeing more Kit and Bell.
Kit doll.
That's the name that people are calling it.
Well, what do you hope to see with Bell season 4?
I hope to see him obviously staying on being a hero. Progression with Kit and Bell, obviously.
Yeah.
That obviously to see him.
Do you think he'll still be doing the TV show?
The TV show. I want to see him and Conrad have more mutual respect for each other. Stuff like that.
I just don't want him to be CEO. Keep that away from him. I'd be curious to see what his role is in bringing down Red Rock, especially
since he brought in Red Rock.
Yeah.
He brought in Red Rock.
Exactly. He's the one who brought them in. So I'd be curious to see what his role is to take them out. Also, I want to see more comedy with him.
Bruce is good at the comedic side. You don't get to see that very much because Belle's like Mr. Bossman over there,
Exactly.
But
the few moments that we see the comedic side of Belle, I love it. You know what I mean? I love all of the comedy scenes that he does or whatever. But yeah, I also want to see. Yeah, I want to see him fall in love, I guess, with Kit and stuff. Have them develop a thing.
Before we sign off, just want to mention that the podcast is growing, and to keep it going, and if you want obviously more interviews, then to help us out, you can go to our Patreon. You can donate as little as $1 a month, and it'll help us fund the podcast with many things like interviews, equipment, software, hosting things. So there's that, and it's www.patreon.com/theresidentpodcast.
Yep.
And then, of course, our social media. You can follow us on Instagram, which is @theresidentpodcast. You can follow Camille on Instagram the resident on Fox Fans. You can follow me at KBCountry37.
Yep.
And then there's our Facebook page, which is the Resident Rulebreakers podcast. And then there's the Facebook group, which is linked to the Facebook page. If you're not already in it, you can go there, join, answer the questions. It's the Resident Fox Fan. Our Twitter account, which is at Resident Podcast.
Yep.
And then, of course, you can email us, theresidentRulebreakers@gmail.com.
Yep.
And then, of course, you can listen to us on SoundCloud, Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Google Play. And then one more thing before we sign off. Malcolm's birthday is next week, okay? He'll be turning 50. And we are accepting birthday messages for Malcolm Jamal Warner. You can send them to us through our email, theresidentRulebreakers@gmail.com, or send them to us on Facebook Messenger.
Yep.
And by next Saturday, which is the 15th. So by the 15th. And so
we will, our most anticipated interview, what I'm most excited about. You know I'm excited about that.
Yes, next week, our podcast is an interview with Malcolm. We recorded it about 3 weeks ago, but it will go up on the 17th. And so look for that. And so
I'm kind of excited for you guys to listen to this one, mostly because it's Malcolm.
it's Malcolm. But we just want to say, again, happy birthday, Bruce.
Yeah.
Happy belated birthday, Radek. So until next week, when we talk to Malcolm, I'm Kayla.
And I'm Camille.
Bye, guys.
Adios.